that America is giving us, and of course the alcohol will take a toll on your body, especially when you get up there in years. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for the generation right below us. They're not going to live to be 80, touching 90. No way. The new generation is going to live to be 50. 50, they're going to be tapping out because of all the damn preservatives and everything. You know, like now they have these drinks where you read the back label, and you know how it's supposed to say 160 grams of whatever? It just has a damn, like a fucking crucifix right there on the total amount, you know? So you know that there's something wrong when it has a crucifix. You know, if you read the back of the can of a Monster, everyone, if you guys can, look at the back can of a Monster. It's just a crucifix on all one side. So, I don't know, man. They're doing something out there. And these kids are taking those down like 2-3 a day. Yeah. And that's, you know, work on the pancreas and all that good stuff. So.
Well, too, they had that, what's that, Four Locos?
Oh, man.
Is that still out? I heard they banned it for a while, no?
Yeah, they brought it back with more sugar.
But this shit's like, it's like a Red Bull with alcohol.
Yep.
You know? And two, when you go to the clubs, they're drinking like Red Bull with vodka or Red Bull with some other, you know what I mean, with other. But it's all about they want to go longer and faster. And we talked about this about maybe 4 or 5 shows back. The next, what was it? The next day drug or some shit, where like you go in for literally a drip.
Oh yeah.
You go to a clinic. You party all fucking night, right? You go all fucking night. The next morning you go into a clinic, and they rehydrate you.
With B12, huh?
Yeah,
Shots?
with B12, vitamin, magnesium, whatever it is you need. Like 3.5 hours, and you're ready to go, and you're done. So people are seeing, and this is strictly my opinion. I could be totally fucking wrong. I could be out of touch with reality, but this is my opinion, and my opinion only. People see that, or at least the people who can afford it. There's gonna be 1 or 2 times where people are gonna die in that instance, man. I push my shit to the limit, man. You know, and I'm sure both of you did the same thing. We push ourselves, man. We're fucking adrenaline fucking junkies, and we want to see how far, how fast, and how much we can do.
My argument to that is, if you have built up a career where you can go to a clinic to get all your vitamins and everything, right. you probably have your shit together.
Yeah, you wouldn't be needing it all the time.
And on the other side of the spectrum is, if you're a super rich, like dope fiend, you know, that needs to go to rehab, your tolerance is so high.
Lindsay Lohan rich.
You're not going to worry about the morning after because you got your fucking drugs and your tolerance is that high.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear about the stories of fucking like dope fiend celebrities hitting rehab, their tolerance is like a rhino, man.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a good point. That was what I was going to say. My cure to it all is the next morning just drink another beer. I ain't going to go inject myself with a doctor. I'm cool. You know?
Hair of the dog. Yes. You know what they say? And that's legendary when they say, well, the hair of the dog. I mean, what the fuck is that? Just drink another fucking beer, man.
Right.
You know?
Get back to normal.
Okay. Right.
Or drink one that's really nasty to remind you. My kiss of death always was tequila. That was my that was my drink of valiente. You know, you put that shit in my system, and I was like I said, I was just fucking balls out. You know, blackout. And the next day, the next day, I found out I tried to stick my dick in a pumpkin. You know, I mean, shit just off the wall. You know what I mean?
I do that sober.
Just you know, it's really scary. I look back on the shit that I did and the shit that I don't even remember doing. Like, people would tell me, or they would have like photos.
Oh yeah, you know you're reaching the peak of your debauchery when people are trying to capture evidence to prove it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're tired of you saying you're full of shit.
Yeah, man. I didn't do that. Dude, do you still have mustard on your dick? What? Oh, yeah, dude. I do have mustard on my dick. What happened there, man? That'd be awesome if you could
get some of that footage.
My point being is, how far do you get, you know, before you realize, okay, this is it? It was unfortunate for me that I had to literally lose organs for it to come to light, you know? And again, we talked about this morning, about our lifestyle. You know, Romeo, you had said, well, yeah, my lifestyle is right now, it's fucking chaotic, you know? It was funny because it took me back to when I first got sober.
I think when it comes to sobriety, everybody's got their own bottom, so to speak.
Right.
There's high bottoms and low bottoms. I think that if you do get help and you do find out what a program is, it really fucks up the time that when you go back, because now that you know what the problem is and you know how to get to the inside those rooms and learning what the program is, when you go back out there, you now have a frame of reference, and it's ruining your ignorance.
That's why you stay more fucked up.
Right. So
I'm not only going to drown my sorrows. I'm going to drown the knowledge that I can fix those sorrows
and drown everybody out who's trying to tell me better.
For sure.
Let's move on, Marin. Romeo, you got any funny stories of what goes on in the barbershop, maybe after the doors closed?
Well, funny stories? They're funny to the barbershop. It's not really funny in the outside world, you know?
About interesting characters that walk
Yeah,
in?
it's a barbershop, so you get a feel of a lot of the people that come in and out of the rooms. Sometimes you get certain scenarios that are pretty interesting. Like just recently I had a lady come in. And you know, sometimes you're working with the public, so the public can be pretty nasty.
Dickish.
Yeah. Nasty, a little word I say. You know, the lady comes in and I'm starting to cut this kid's hair, and she's just standing there with her arms crossed, and she's staring at me, and I'm cutting the hair, and she comes over and she says, "That's not what I wanted." And it's so hilarious because I said, "You asked me for a taper, correct?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, this is a taper." She's like, "Well, that's not how I want it." I'm like, "Okay, well, let me finish cutting his hair because I can't put the hair back." You know, like, that's a smart ass comment. So she turns around and just gets more infuriated. And so I finished the haircut, and then she comes back, and you know, in the haircut, you know, when your hair's long, we tend to not pull it, but you know, grab a section and then cut it with the scissors. Well, I'm grabbing sections of this kid's hair, you know, to cut it like a normal barber does. And then she comes and she's all, "Get off the chair." And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not done. She's like, no, get off the chair. I don't like the way you talk to me, and I don't like the way you're pulling my son's hair. And I looked at the other barber like, dude, this is how we cut hair. I'm not pulling your son's hair. This is how you get it cut. So he gets off, and then, you know, there's scenarios like that where they get irate. I mean, she looked like she was gonna blow. Like her face was red, veins were popping out of her skull.
Did she pay though?
No, and that's the funny part about it.
What you do is you offer her a free cut and then make sure that she never comes back.
Exactly. So there's scenarios like that. I've had a couple times where I grew up in the streets, so I have that mentality in me. So sometimes there's some people that come in there and they have the same mentality. And there's been a couple times where I told a couple clients, "Hey man, why don't we just go step outside and handle this the right way?" And fortunately, no one has stepped outside. But you know, that's how irate a client can get. And it's basically working with the public. If you're having a bad day, you come in and you're gonna take it out on anybody, you know. And unfortunately for them, they don't know that I'm self-employed. So, you know, it's not like I have a boss or that they can go to that I can get in trouble.
Or freelance contract.
You know, yeah. Right. So it's like more like you're dealing with me.
You walk into a barbershop and you're in a bad mood. Well, you could check your attitude and get over it, and tomorrow will be a better day.
Especially when it has to do with your looks.
If you upset the barber, he's gonna make sure that you have a bad day for like the next 6 weeks.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's characters that come in and out of that shop that, you know, they're funny. Like I got this buff guy that comes in and he's just hilarious, dude. That's all he talks about. His conversation is how much more steroids he's gonna put into his body.
Wow.
And I mean, this guy's beyond big. So you know, you get the
can't wipe his own ass.
The
that
whole
big.
Yeah, that big, dude. And you know, like I got that guy. I got the guy that just can't seem to get a woman. You know, the guy that just comes in and
no matter how good you cut his hair,
dude, there's nothing I could do to his face.
That's where that's funny, and that's you do play the role of the barroom's therapist
for sure. Yeah,
that's why it's called bar shop.
Wow.
So yeah, and then you know, in our particular barbershop, we run it like an old school barbershop. So you can bring in your beer, drink yourself a drink right there, get yourself a haircut. And I'm sorry, no offense to anybody, but you are going to hear cuss words in the barbershop. And you are going to see ladies, you know, in the magazines and things of that nature, you know. So it is an official barbershop. The ladies or men that don't want their kids to hear or see things that, you know, are normal in a barbershop, do not bring them by, because we are an official barbershop. And there is beer drinking there, so that's another aspect to the whole barber. And just for a lot of you that don't know, the barbershop is actually one of the places where you can serve alcohol, not have a problem. Reason being is because it's from the old laws of America. America has the laws we have now, and then they have the old solid laws. And since barbershops have been around, that's one of the laws that they never took away.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you can have it on tap, and you can serve it to them. The only thing you can't do is sell it to them. So that's just little food for thought. And another interesting fact about being a barber or doing the whole barber thing is that the barber back in the days used to be the actual doctor, therapist, and all that.
Yeah. That's why they did the red and blue, right? The red was for blood, and the blue was for cutting hair. I've seen that in a history book somewhere, I think, or something like that.
And what it was basically it was called bloodletting. So the razor that they used, they would cut you and let out all the bad, evil spirits out of your body, and that's why that's what the red stands for in the barber pole for bloodletting. Yeah. So barbershops have been around for a while, and you know they're a history. They're the history of America too. They're part of a history of America, and so you know it's probably one of the best occupations if you don't want a boss, if you don't want to clock in. Matter of fact, it's late. I need to be at work. But yeah, I mean that's how I run my business. It's I'm self-employed or self-contracted out. So that's the beauty of what I do. You know, I could go in whenever I want. I could take days off whenever I want. You know, I don't have a boss. The only thing I can't do is get too belligerent and start cussing out customers, because then, you know, of course, that's my job.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, this is the third shop you've been in, right?
Yeah.
The third shop.
Yeah.
I remember
the first one was like the one I have now, and then I went to another one which was more of like a family-oriented barbershop. I didn't stay there that long. Then I went to another shop where it was similar to the one I have now, and then I went to another shop after that. You know, they're just different barbershops that you go into that you get a feel for. That, you know, until you find the right one, it's like a marriage. You know, until you find the right chick, then you're gonna be able to settle down.
Well, I visited you. I visited you in I think four of those places, and we talked about that afterwards. I said, I don't think you're. This isn't really your environment, But I've been to this shop here. It seems relaxed. It seems real. It seems casual. It's in a good part of town, so I know you're gonna. Your clientele is good there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's Citrus and Foothill.
Because I walk in there, and these guys have these motherfuckers have snap on rollaways, you know, like for tools. But they have their barber shit in it, and I'm like, holy! Now these are some serious fucking barbers. Yeah. You would think all the motherfucker needs is scissors and clippers, right? Fuck, these motherfuckers, they're just, you know, you can only imagine what little tricks and doodads they use, you know, to get you that perfect right cut, you know.
Exactly.
So it was just it looks really it looks like the people there. For me, you don't stick a fucking snap-on fucking roll away in your corner if you're planning on just be there for a couple, you know what I mean, for a little while, or you're there for the long haul. You're gonna set your shit up, you know what I mean. So it's really, and everybody has their own little pictures here and their little section, you know what I mean. So you see the personalities
of each barber, you know? Yeah.
And there's like what 10 you said 10
barbers right now. Yeah,
there's like 10 barbers there. And the funny thing is you're telling me that the owner of the shop isn't a barber.
Yeah,
he's not a barber. He just rents out the spaces.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny, because you would think that because that's
at least know a little bit,
because that's your end result is you want to own your own barber shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would think that's every barber's their end dream. Yeah. And so when you told me that, the guy don't even he just rents spaces out. That's an entrepreneur of just it's kind of weird, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, moving on.
We're gonna wrap it up and let Marin take Romeo to work. And then we'll probably finish the show off just you and I.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. And remember, Citrus and Foothill, the spot.
Plug,
come through.
Plug away.
I'm a media whore.